पन विसरे नहीं जो विसारी जुगल चरण सोल चिन्ह जेह नजर समीपे रहो हमारी एह नजर समीपे रहो हमारी एह घनश्याम महाराज नीजे हरे कृष्ण महाराज नीजे ठाकुर जी महाराज नीजे सद्गुरुदेव की जय। Supreme Almighty, our beloved Muktanand Swami Sevit Thakurji Maharaj, our divine Guru Parampara Muktanand Swami, Adaran Swami, Hari Priya Swami, Vaikuncharan Swami, Narayan Swarup Swami, Nanda Kishore Swami, and our Pujya Guruji, and all of you devotees of Loyadham Parivar. Jai Swaminarayan. Today is Yuva Sabha, week 3. And today's Yuva Sabha theme is Mahima. Mahima, or the glory or greatness of God, His Ekantik Sant, and overall this satsang. Mahima is a word that has much weight to it. Sadguru Gunatitanand Swami says in his Vato, the very first Vat, Swami says that one should talk about the glory of God and His Sant night and day. Even if one may be weak spiritually, but if one starts to hear, listen, and talk about the glory of God and His sadhu, then automatically that soul will become spiritually strong. That's how much weight is in this word Mahima. But today we would like to see the Mahima of God and also the Mahima of the Ekantik Sant. And overall, how can we change our life, or how can we implement Mahima into our life by these Vachanamruts, by these Charitras that we're going to go over, by this Kalyankanika Vat. That is today's program. So let's see overall what we'll be doing. First and foremost, Vachanamrut Gadada, middle chapter 13th, the divine form of Purushottam Bhagwan. Second, Vachanamrut Gadada, last chapter. Second, the true meaning of satsang. And finally, Vachanamrut Gadada, middle chapter 63, the greatness of God and His Sant. So, for this Yuva Sabha, we've only selected small snips that will explain and back up this theme. So, these are not whole Vachanamruts. They may have headings, but when we look at them, when we analyze them, they'll only be extracts of that particular subject we're going through. Next, our Puja Guruji's Vato, Kalyan Kanika. Kanika number 5, Vat number 131. That's what we're going to look at. After that, Charitra 1 of Shri Hari and Muktamuni, and Charitra 2 of Muktanand Swami. So, this is the whole outline for today. So, without further ado, we'd like to dive right into the Vachanamrut Gadada, middle chapter 13th. So over here you can see that it's only a small excerpt, but I'm going to read the exact paragraph and then we'll analyze it from there. Swaminarayan Hare. Vachanamrut Gadada, middle chapter 13th. So this is in the middle of this Vachanamrut. Amidst that divine light, I see the extremely luminous form of God. The form is dark, but due to the intensity of the light, it appears to be rather fair, not dark. The form has 2 arms and 2 legs, not 4, 8, or 1,000 arms, and its appearance is very captivating. First of all, Bhagwan Swaminarayan is saying that admits that divine light, I see the extremely luminous form of God. So first of all, this sentence proves and shows that the form of God is actually a form. Bhagwan Swaminarayan is not formless. He has a pure divine form. Mostly 98% of the religions in the world believe God to be formless. But in reality, backing up through the Vedas, backing up through the Vachanamrut and Sadguru Swami Nivato, definitely, for sure, Bhagwan Swaminarayan has a form, and that will always stay that way, because if God created this world, then how could He not have a form? That is the very factor that one can see, that God has a form. That is the only way that He can create something else with a form. So, the form is dark, but not due to the intensity of the light, it appears to be rather fair, not dark. Bhagwan's divine abode is, according to the Vachanamrut Gadara, 1st chapter 12, is analyzed like, take this whole world to be made of glass. Take the trees, the mountains, every single entity to be made of glass. Now, if sunlight was shined on that world made of glass, think about the divine light. Similarly, in the same way, the divine light of Bhagwan Swaminarayan is so luminous that it cannot even compare to billions of stars combined. Now, taking that fact into consideration, we mere humans cannot even look at the sun with our naked eye directly, or else we are temporarily go blind, or permanently if we look long enough. That's how luminous and bright the sun is, and that light takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds to reach this earth. Now, putting all the facts together, if that's only one sun, Bhagwan's divine abode has luminous light that has countless stars, you can say countless stars light in that Akshardham. But that light is shant, sital, meaning cool and luminous. It's not as fiery, or it cannot blind someone. That's how the light is described as in that Vachanamrut. The form has 2 arms and 2 legs, not 4, 8, or 1,000 arms. Bhagwan Swaminarayan's form has 2 arms and 2 legs. And its appearance is very captivating. Bhagwan's beauty is described by Nansanto in their Kirtans in so many ways, but in the end, Santos always say that I've described it, but there is no words to exactly describe Bhagwan's form. It's only a matter of experiencing. For example, suppose you're hungry for 2 days, and someone comes and talks about chocolate cake, how it is, how moist it is, how sweet it is, how rich it is, how tasty it is. Your stomach will not become filled. Your stomach will not become filled, but only when that person offers you that cake, you take it on your plate and you start to eat it. Only then will you be able to experience the taste of chocolate. In the same way, Bhagwan Swaminarayan's form, no matter how much it's described, one will not have or will not get the exact experience until one has tasted Bhagwan's form. That is how Bhagwan's form is. Everything else in this world can be described. everything. Everything in this world has some kind of word that can link to it. But Bhagwan's form is so captivating, so beautiful, so undescribable that there are no words that can match exactly how Bhagwan is. The form is very serene. It has a human form. Understand this, dear Bhakto, that Bhagwan has a human-like form. In the past avatars, avatars have taken bodies of different half lion, half man, tortoise, horse, etc., so on and so forth. But Bhagwan Swaminarayan's Sarvopari Bhagwan, Supreme Bhagwan, the Lord of all lords, the Lord of all incarnations, the creator, sustainer, and destroyer of every single element, everything, he has a human form. According to this Vachanamrut, this is Bhagwan Swaminarayan's own speech. And it appears young like a teenager. Young meaning 13 and 14-year-old. That kind of age range. Sometimes the form in the divine light is seen standing, sometimes sitting, and at other times it is seen walking around, meaning it is alive. Bhagwan Swaminarayan is not a statue. Bhagwan Swaminarayan is real, walking, talking, speaking, playful, every single emotion that we can even think of, more than that. But that is all for the happiness of that particular devotee, that Bhagwan behaves in that certain manner. It is surrounded on all four sides by groups of muktos. Muktos meaning liberated souls, who are seated facing him and who are engrossed in looking at his form, at the form of God with a fixed gaze. The Bhagwan's form is so captivating that all those liberated souls, due to the grace of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, have received a divine form just like him in his divine abode, Akshardham. They are all looking in that center focal area with a fixed, captivating gaze at Bhagwan Swaminarayan's divine form. And each and every mukto have their own personal experience with God. Some mukto are so that they only see Bhagwan and themselves. Some muktos see the whole Akshardham, whole Sabha. Some muktos see Bhagwan doing charitras. So meaning preference. Example, if you like sweet and not spicy, that's a preference. If you like the winter season more than the summer season, that's a preference. In the same way, the muktos there in Akshardham have preferences in different kinds of scenarios with Bhagwan. Maybe it be looking at charitras or becoming playful with Bhagwan. May it be seeing and having the darshan of the divine Sabha of Akshardham. May it be only becoming engrossed in the form of God. But these are all preferences that the muktos have there. I see that form in its incarnate form before me at this very moment. I saw it before I came into this satsang fellowship. I could see it when I was in my mother's womb. Bhagwan Swaminarayan is saying this, but this is just a charitra. In fact, I could see it even before I entered my mother's womb. Moreover, I'm speaking to you while sitting there. In fact, I do not see this village of Gadara or even this veranda. I also see all of you sitting there as well. This statement of Bhagwan Swaminarayan is so powerful. This Vachanamrut Gadara middle chapter 13th is the whole heart of all 262 Vachanamruts. It is the heart of all the Vachanamruts. And here Bhagwan Swaminarayan is saying that I saw that form before I even entered my mother's womb, while in my mother's womb, and even right now. And all of you speaking there. I am speaking to you all while sitting there. Meaning that Bhagwan that is speaking is the Supreme Lord. That is the statement here proven. I do not see any of this. Does not see the surroundings. Meaning at that time, approximately 200 years ago, Bhagwan Swaminarayan, while sitting in the village of Gadara, in Dada Kachar's courtyard, is saying this, that he does not see any of the surroundings there. I also see all of you sitting there, meaning they were and they are in Akshardham. Bhagwan and their Mukto are kind of just projecting and coming here to liberate countless souls and take them all to the divine abode of Akshardham. It is this Purushottam, meaning Bhagwan, who transcends Akshar, meaning is beyond Akshar, even beyond Akshardham, who is the cause of all avatars. This is the main Vad. Bhagwan Swaminarayan is Sarvopari or supreme. He is the cause of all avatars. Cause meaning due to him, those avatars, incarnations, go to their various places and do their works. Due to him, it's happening. All avatars emanate from Purushottam and they merge back into Purushottam. This reminds me of a small story of Parvatbhai. As we have heard of many times, he was farming and he thought of how does the form of the avatars look, Nushi, Vara, etc., so on and so forth. And right there and there in the sky, Bhagwan Swaminarayan appeared. And one by one, from inside of him, each avatar came out. All 24 came, gave darshan to Parvatbhai, and then merged back into Bhagwan Swaminarayan, proving that Bhagwan Swaminarayan is the Supreme Lord and proving this statement to be as is. Realize that form amidst that light is this Maharaj visible before you. Bhagwan is stating that I am Bhagwan. I am the Supreme Lord and I am right in front of you. Understand this. He is addressing that assembly there. Nonetheless, he is addressing all of us as we future devotees also understand his form, so we can also attain him. Because without understanding Bhagwan Swaminarayan, we cannot attain him. Without understanding him to be the Supreme Lord, we cannot attain him. If we want to post something to someone in another state, and suppose the house number is 144 Greenway Street, Wisconsin, and instead of 144 we write 145, that exact parcel will not reach the exact place you want it to. In the same way, if we do not understand Bhagwan Swaminarayan to be the Supreme Lord of Lords, the cause of all incarnations, Sarvopari, then we will not reach Bhagwan's divine abode, Akshardham. If we believe Bhagwan Swaminarayan to be like Krishna Bhagwan, if we believe Bhagwan Swaminarayan to be like Ram Bhagwan, if we believe Bhagwan Swaminarayan to be another Bhagwan, then we will reach only that abode. But remember, Bhakto, the abode of Bhagwan Swaminarayan is the highest. The abode of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, there is no abode beyond it. There is no abode that is even next to it. Everything else is below, because Bhagwan Swaminarayan is the Supreme Lord of Lords. So if we want to reach Bhagwan Swaminarayan, remember that he is supreme, understand him to be supreme, understand him to be the all-doer, and that is the only way of reaching his divine ultimate abode, Akshardham. Let us move on to the next Vachanamrut, Gadada, last chapter, 2nd. And I'm going to read it. In fact, The fruit of all spiritual endeavors is satsang. In the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavat, Shri Krishna Bhagwan says to Uddhav, I am not as pleased by Ashtang Yoga, thoughts of Sankhya, scriptural study, austerities, renunciation, yoga, sacrifices, observances, etc., as I am pleased by satsang. In fact, it appears to me that all sanskars one has gathered from previous lives have been attained through association with the Satpurush. Even today, those who obtain sanskars do so through the association with the Satpurush. Now we're moving on to the next phase. We have understood the Mahima of Bhagwan Swaminarayan. Now we want to understand the Mahima of the Ekantik Satpurush. In this satsang, in this Vachanamrut, Bhagwan Swaminarayan himself has spoken. Wherever he has mentioned God, he has also put Satpurush with him. Because the Satpurush is the agent of God. Without the Ekantik Satpurush, there is no way of attaining Bhagwan. Without the association of the Satpurush, there is no way of eradicating and burning the sins of countless lives. Without the association of the Ekantik Satpurush, there is no one that can become Ekantik. Straight facts, but true facts. And in this Vachanamrut, Gadara last chapter 2nd, Bhagwan Swaminarayan is saying that in the Srimad Bhagavat, Shri Krishna Bhagwan said to Uddhav, I am not pleased by Ashtang Yoga, thoughts of science, scriptural studies, etc., so on and so forth, as I am by satsang. Satsang meaning the association of the Ekantik Satpurush. Satsang meaning drad priti or indefinite affection for the Ekantik Satpurush. Satsang meaning oneness with the Ekantik Satpurush in order to develop oneness with Bhagwan Swaminarayan. Remember, Bhakto, the ultimate goal is Bhagwan Swaminarayan. But without a bridge, without a medium, without someone to take you there, it's not possible. That's why it is first very, very necessary to join in the Ekantik Satpurush, which we have received in the form of our Puja Guruji, who is night and day working and making an effort to liberate countless souls. Such an Ekantik Satpurush, without his grace, without his association, without his sang, without his presence within us, without his spiritual guidance, there is no way that one can attain Bhagwan Swaminarayan or please Bhagwan Swaminarayan. In fact, it appears to me that all the sanskars meaning everything and anything that we have learned, gained, or you can say have with us in the form of knowledge, skills, etc., so on and so forth. It says that all the sanskars that one has gathered from previous lives and right now is all due to the association of the Satpurush, meaning everything, all virtues, everything is his, nothing is ours. He is giving all of this to us so we can please Bhagwan and we can please him. Just look at the compassion and daya of the Ekantik Satpurush, that he gives us virtues so we can please him, and by him becoming pleased, Bhagwan will become pleased, because Bhagwan lives inside of the Ekantik Satpurush. Without the association of the Ekantik Satpurush, it's just not possible. Straight facts, but true facts, as I mentioned. Continuing on, if a person develops conviction in the Guru, who is the manifest form of God, in the same way that he has conviction in the non-manifest deities, then as a result, he attains all the arthas which are described as attainable. Now, if one develops conviction in the Guru, what is conviction? Conviction meaning a firm resolution. Conviction meaning a principle that is fit, faith that is fit into one's heart. If a person develops conviction in the Guru, who is the manifest form of God, meaning Guru Roop Hari. This is the title of this Vachanamrut, Guru Roop Hari. What is that meaning? Guru meaning spiritual master, Roop meaning form, Hari meaning God. Guru in the form of God. Straightforward. Bhagwan Swaminarayan, remember, does vicharan on this earth through his ekantik Satpurush. Bhagwan Swaminarayan talks through his ekantik Satpurush. Bhagwan Swaminarayan listens through his ekantik Satpurush. Bhagwan Swaminarayan walks through his ekantik Satpurush. Bhagwan Swaminarayan feels and smells through his ekantik Satpurush. Meaning, Bhagwan Swaminarayan is inside of the ekantik Satpurush, doing everything, all the works on this earth, for the very purpose of liberating countless souls. No other purpose. Only one time has Bhagwan Swaminarayan came on this earth 239 years ago, and he will never come on this earth in his manifest form again. But for sure, now he will stay inside of his ekantik Satpurush and do his works until the end of this Brahmand, this universe. That is a fact. We are very fortunate to have a Guru Roop Hari in the form of our Puja Guruji, Sadguru Shri Ghanshyamprakashdasji Swami. Such a Sadguru, such an ekantik Satpurush who is compassionate, who is the idol of saintliness, who is very, very, very forgiving, who has a very high ekantik state, spiritual state, who is engrossed in Bhagwan's form, who has deep affection for Bhagwan and his Guru, our Puja Dada Guruji, Sadguru Swami Shri Nandakishordasji Swami. We are very fortunate to be in this Muktanandiya Parampara as Loyadham Parivar Bhakto. Why not understand their glory? Why not take advantage and become engrossed? Why not attain God through their wisdom? Why not? We have all the sources we need. It's just a matter of applying in our life. If one understands one's Guru to be in the form, to be Bhagwan, to be inside of him, then there is nothing else remaining. Moksha is final. In fact, when he attains the company of such a sant, he has, while still alive, attained he who was to be attained after death. That is to say that he has attained that which is called the highest state of enlightenment or liberation while being alive. By understanding the ekantik Satpurush in this way, one has attained the highest state possible. It's just a matter of believing. It's just a matter of, yes, this is true. Just putting that yes, that conviction inside of our mind, inside of our heart, inside of our soul, fitting it firmly. That's all we have to do, nothing else. But that can also be done only through the company of the ekantik Sant. He will get you to this point, slowly but surely, but one's duty is to keep contact and associate with him. And finally, moving on, Gadada, middle chapter 63. Countless types of mental and physical suffering arise during the final moments of a person's life, which everyone knows about. But when one has the darshan of God and his Sant, all of those miseries are expelled. Bhagwan and his Sant are full of bliss. Bhagwan and his Sant are full of divinity. Bhagwan and his Sant are full of spirituality. that all bliss or all miseries are suppressed and destroyed by their mere darshan. Such is the greatness of God and His Sant. This is their greatness. In fact, the Bhakta, or meaning the Sant of God, is indeed nothing but a form of Brahm. That is why one should never perceive human traits in God, meaning the form of God here. Such a Sant is the form of God. That's why one should not ever perceive any kind of false or negative traits in such a Sant. The worst thing to do is to perceive human traits in the Sant, and the best thing to do is to perceive divinity in the Sant. This is what Gunatitananda Swami has said in his Vato. And just observe, if one has developed a negative or a human trait in a Sant or anyone, one's heart will be full of pain, misery, burning. And when one sees divinity in such a Sant and Bhakta, in this whole Loyadham Parivar that we have received, then automatically our heart will be filled with happiness. Our hearts will be filled with bliss. This is the greatness and pratap of this satsang. Therefore, one should remember to never perceive any kind of human traits in the Ekantik Sant or Bhagwan. And finally, Kalyan Kanika, our Puja Guruji's Vato. We are very fortunate that Puja Guruji has given us his Vato. All we have to do is examine and implement into our life in order to become divine, in order to become a mukta of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, in order to please Bhagwan Swaminarayan and his Ekantik Sant. So, saying that, Puja Guruji says, Swaminarayan Hare, Kalyan Kanika, Kanika number 5, Vat number 131. Golden spears, meaning Sonana Sikhar. In temples, they have the spears on top. That's what Guruji is talking about here. Golden spheres, meaning made of gold, gold plated. Golden doors or golden thrones will not grant us liberation. All these divine, you can say, luxuries that we see in a temple. Why I say divine is because a temple is divine. And everything inside or outside of it is divine because it's a home of God. But even if it's made of gold, 24 karat pure gold, or even platinum, they will not grant us liberation. None of these will. Not golden spheres, not golden doors, not golden thrones, not golden anything, or anything on this earth. But our liberation lies only in understanding the glory, or meaning the mahima, of the great Satpurush. Our liberation lies only in understanding the glory and mahima of the Ekantik Satpurush. Bhagwan Swaminarayan is far, yet near. Bhagwan Swaminarayan is very difficult to understand. But one thing Bhagwan Swaminarayan has given us is the company of his Ekantik Sant. And due to that company, we are able to liberate our souls and get out of this cycle of life and death. But the only stipulation is to attach one's soul to the Ekantik Satpurush. For example, if we take a train in the beginning has the engine, and then may it be empty or may it be filled compartments, other small or big cars, you can say, that are attached. Now the engine is the one that is pulling very, very, very heavy load and taking it long distances. But if one does not attach to the engine, then one will not go anywhere. But if one attaches to the engine and stays attached, then one will go to the divine abode of Akshardham without a chance. In the same way, the engine is the Ekantik Satpurush. Without the engine, one cannot progress. Without the engine, one cannot go the certain direction one has to. Without the engine, it's not possible. But even if we do not have anything inside of us, even if we're just an empty compartment, even if there's nothing, but since we have the connection, since we have the relation with the Ekantik Satpurush, due to that relation, Bhagwan Swaminarayan will also accept us into his divine abode Akshardham. That is the very factor, that is the very importance of such an Ekantik Satpurush. And that's why we have received such an Ekantik Satpurush Bhakto. We are talking about the Ekantik Satpurush, not to find him, but we are talking about the Ekantik Satpurush to understand him. Because we have received the Pragat manifest Satpurush in the form of our Puja Guruji, who is currently residing in Loyadham, India. For all of our benefits, he is doing bhajan and tap that no one would even imagine. But so that all of us would become happy. Just as Nilkanvarni traveled 7 long years barefoot, experiencing extremely chill weather in the Himalayas or extreme heat of the southern points of India, or jungles and monsoons and various kinds of snakes and animals, ferocious animals, traveled over 12,000 kilometers in his 7-year journey, barefooted, without wearing nothing but a loincloth, just so that all of his devotees would become happy. In the same way, our Puja Guruji is performing Dharna Parna, meaning a type of fast where one eats for one day and the second day only water. And it just keeps going and going for a long time, doing bhajan over 100 maras every day, doing dhyan of bhagwan, reading the Vachanamrut and spiritual scriptures, doing katha to santo, and nonetheless, always tolerating everything around him. Such a Satpurush we have received. We do not have to go far. All we have to do is understand him. All we have to do is connect with him. All we have to do is stay connected with him. That is our obligation. That is our duty. Everything else, Thakurji Maharaj and Puja Guruji will take care of. There is no need to run around. There is no need to do extra things. There is only a need to do as what they say. That's all. And everything else they will take care of. So remember this fact of the Ekantik Satpurush and how we need to understand him in order to go to the divine abode of Akshardham. Moving on, Charitra 1 explains how Bhagwan Swaminarayan is omniscient, meaning Antaryami. Nonetheless, how Muktanand Swami, our Adi Guru, our Satsangni Ma, the mother of Satsang, is also Antaryami. Bhagwan Swaminarayan's dearmost sant, if I can say without a doubt, was Muktanand Swami. Because Bhagwan Swaminarayan kept Muktanand Swami everywhere where he went. Bhagwan Swaminarayan sent Muktanand Swami to do his most, you can say, toughest jobs. Bhagwan Swaminarayan sent Muktanand Swami to establish the first pillars of satsang in numerous villages around India. Bhagwan Swaminarayan kept Muktanand Swami as his prime sadhu. because Muktanand Swami was like that. Muktanand Swami was a mother, yet the guru of Bhagwan Swaminarayan. Whatever Muktanand Swami said, Bhagwan Swaminarayan would do. That's how much respect Maharaj kept for Muktanand Swami. And yet, Muktanand Swami was das na das. Bhagwan Swaminarayan has stated in the Vachanamrut only for two santos which have that seed of dasatva or servitude, which is Sadguru Shri Muktanand Swami, Adi Guru, and Sadguru Shri Gopalan Swami, Yogi Raj. Only these two sadhus has Maharaj stated to have the highest state of servitude or dasmanu or dasatva. That's what level Muktanand Swami was. And it is our obligation to understand him. It is our obligation to sing his glory. It is our obligation to understand what he has done for this satsang. It is our obligation to take out his scriptures which have been suppressed and to introduce them to others. It is our obligation to sing his qualities. It is our obligation to sing his charitras. Even by doing this, it will be merely enough for him. Even by doing just a little bit, he would become pleased upon us. And if such a Sat Purush like Mukta Muni, Adi Guru, Satsangni Ma becomes pleased upon us, then what else will there be remaining? In the Vachanamrut Loya 6, Bhagwan Swaminarayan says that if you develop any kind of vicious thoughts, clap and chant my name Swaminarayan, and nonetheless say my sadhu's name, Muktanand Swami, chant his name as well. By that, those vicious thoughts will run away. Those vicious thoughts will be washed away. By merely chanting Muktanand Swami's name. Bhagwan Swaminarayan has stated this in the Vachanamrut Loya 6th. If you read it, you will find it. Think about how much Bhagwan Swaminarayan is fond of Muktanand Swami. Think about how much Bhagwan Swaminarayan knows this Muktanand Swami is no ordinary sadhu. This Muktanand Swami is not a high priest. This Muktanand Swami is the ultimate sadhu. Just how Bhagwan Swaminarayan is Sarvopari, proven by the Vachanamrut, in the same way, Sadguru Shri Muktanand Swami is Sarvopari, proven by Haricharitramrut Sagar. And again, Bhakto, remember, we have received such a Sadguru. We have received such a Parampara. We have received such our Puja Guruji that there is nothing else to do now. All we have to do is stay connected, and everything else will be done. And we're not going to go through this charitra, but I would like to share the second charitra with you, charitra 2, of Muktanand Swami's understanding and how he understood the glory of Bhagwan Swaminarayan. So in the village of Behesjal, there was a Brahmin devotee by the name of Moti Travadi. Now, Moti Bhai came to Gadada to have the darshan of Bhagwan Swaminarayan and Muktanand Swami. Now, one day, Moti Bhai was sitting and Muktanand Swami asked Santanand Swami to go and check what Bhagwan Swaminarayan was doing in Akshar Ordi, Bhagwan Swaminarayan's residential building. And Santanand Swami went and saw that Bhagwan Swaminarayan was bathing. Shriji Maharaj was bathing. Muktanand Swami became very, very ecstatic. He grabbed Moti Bhai's hand and he said, "Let's go." And there, Muktanand Swami, by the western side, there was a jambu tree. And Bhagwan Swaminarayan was bathing. And the drainage line, the water, at that time, there was no PVC piping or copper piping, but there was just straight, you can say, those half canals that was used as drainages, and the water would go far into the outskirts of the village. And that drainage, where Bhagwan Swaminarayan was bathing, that water that was going by, Muktanand Swami came and sat down and started to take that water and put it on his head Moti Travadi is just looking, he's saying, what is Muktanand Swami doing? And Muktanand Swami was saying the names of tirths like Kashi and all the other tirths in India, and saying the tirths names and the pilgrimages names, and also putting the water on his head with mahima, with glory. And then Muktanand Swami took a handful of water and also sipped it, and then explained to Motibai that by drinking this water, by putting this water on your head, countless lives of sins will be destroyed. And Motibai did the same. And then Muktanand Swami took Motibai's hand and took him to Bhagwan Swaminarayan. And Bhagwan Swaminarayan gave him divine darshan full of light. And Bhagwan Swaminarayan was there amidst that light. And Motibai right there and then broke his Rudraksh Mara and fell at the feet of Bhagwan Swaminarayan and Muktanand Swami and said, please put a kanti around me. I want to become your devotee. Muktanand Swami's mahima, Muktanand Swami's drashti or vision of mahima, due to that one small charitra, made an ekantik bhakta like Motibai. This was the level of mahima Muktanand Swami, you can say, displayed, but this is not even 1%. This is one charitra, but this is not even 1% of how much mahima, glory Muktanand Swami had for Bhagwan Swaminarayan in this satsang. But we are very fortunate that at least we have received such kind of charitra, so we can understand and know what kind of mahima to possess for Bhagwan Swaminarayan, for the Ekantik Satpurush, for this satsang in general. So, saying this, dear Bhaktos, this satsang is very divine and full of glory. It's just a matter of understanding the greatness of Bhagwan, his Ekantik Sant, and the satsang overall. Let us bow down to our Thakurji Maharaj, our Sadguru Shri Muktanand Swami, Sadguru Shri Adharan Swami, Sadguru Shri Haripriyadas Swami, Sadguru Shri Vaikuncharan Das Swami, Sadguru Shri Narayan Swarup Das Swami, Sadguru Shri Nand Kishore Das Swami, and our Puja Guruji, who is very, very, very compassionate in wanting us to excel in the path of Bhagwan Swaminarayan and become ekantik day by day. Let us bow down to his feet and pray to him. Pray to Bhagwan Swaminarayan, Thakurji Maharaj. Pray to our Guru Parampara to make us not like Muktanand Swami, because it's just not possible, but even just a mere % would do in order to please Bhagwan Swaminarayan. Saying this, my humble Jai Swaminarayan.